So inflation. There are different kinds of inflation: price inflation, wage inflation, etc. Right now we're going to discuss monetary inflation. Monetary inflation is the increase of money into the system, into the economy. When you increase money into the system, the system reacts. You can't fool the system. When you pump money into the system, other things increase also. The prices of wages, the prices of goods and services. Right now, people are noticing when they go to the supermarket, the prices of their milk, or their cheese, or their bread is slowly increasing. I bought something today that a couple years ago was $6.50. Now it's up to $7.89. It's the same item, but it's just increasing. So there are different kinds of inflation, but essentially this is fueled by more money being pumped into the economy. Who is hurt with this sort of inflation? Well, lots of people, but among other things, people on fixed incomes. I was sharing this last night with someone in last night's class, and she was getting upset. I mean, she really was. She was sort of, because essentially, you remember that graphic with the value going down? Well, if someone promises you a pension, when you retire you'll get X amount of money. If you take this job and you work it for 25 years, if you start in 1990, well, by 2010 they promised you $1,000 a month or whatever it is. Well, $1,000 in 1990 would buy more than it would in 2010. So essentially they stole from you. They took that money from you. Or people on things like Social Security.
Those fiat dollars back then, they were, say, worth $1, are now only 50 cents.
Well, exactly, and they're just worth less and less the more they print. So, for instance, people on Social Security, when they started, working and all that, well, they thought, well, sure, this will get me through retirement, this will get me through those years, but all of a sudden, each one of those dollars is worth less. It can buy less. So it really hurts people on fixed incomes, where essentially, if you put it in the bank, well, if the rate of inflation is 3%, that means essentially it's 3% worth less every year, every quarter, whatever. Well, then that means you've got to be making some sort of return on investment more than 3% just to not have your money decaying in the bank. And so essentially, inflation is the tax that hurts everyone. No one can escape inflation. Also, people who are owed money. If you're owed money, if you say, well, I'll pay this back, and you say, by this year I'm going to start paying it back, and you say, okay, on this date I'll give you your money. Well, if that's a period of 10, 20 years, whatever it is, well, by the time you're getting it back 20 years from that point, well, it's actually worth less. And so you gave the person essentially more money on the front end than they're paying you back on the back end. Let me just say something else. Who benefits from this? Well, the debtors. Those that are owed, that owe money, well, they actually get to pay back in cheaper bills, etc.